Now, while these are the 4 phases that I spoke about, where I started from the streets of Gumnam, where nobody knew that I'm a coach, from a space where people started acknowledging my presence in the industry, this would not have been possible without the 2 basic principles. All right, so thank you so much once again, and such an honor to stand in front of you guys once again to talk about the coaching practice. What I'm going to do is, in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to take you through my own life journey. And I remember the first time when I was introduced to coaching, nobody knew it. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to introduce a few terms, and you'll be able to resonate with that. Now, how many of you have just started your coaching journey? I can see a few of the hands. Fantastic, thank you. Now, the first phase of my life was Gumnam. How many of you have seen this movie, Gumnam? Right? In that movie, what happens is that you are lost. Nobody knows you. Only you know that you are a coach. Yes, no? And I remember I was talking to my brother, and I started asking questions, and he said, "Don't be a doctor at home. Just get up और जाके 2 kilo दूध लेके आ." And I said, "It doesn't work. It doesn't work." And that was the first phase. It was like Gumnam. Right? Now, Gumnam is a space that we all have gone through. Gumnam is a space where nobody knows other than you that you are a coach. Now, that is the time when you go through a lot of anxiety, when you go through a lot of frustration. And the only thing that you need to do is, in that phase, is keep working hard on yourself. At the same time, what is really important is start doing charity, start doing free work, start doing pro bono work. And trust me, I would have done 60% of my coaching practice at that point in time, which was absolutely at no cost. I will move from one organization to another, from second organization to the third organization, and the idea was just to evangelize coaching, just to knock another door and let them know what coaching is and what it is not. And if you're not doing it, trust me, there's a darker edge which is waiting for you in times to come. Now, this is the space where you just need to go out, tell people what coaching is, what it is not, educate people, evangelize coaching, and do as much pro bono as possible, because from there, you're going to get a lot of good feedback. And that is what we call as the phase of Gumnam. Now, the second phase is what I call as Surma. How many of us have seen Surma? Now, Surma is a beautiful space where you need to invest a lot. How many of you have actually gone through module 1 and 2? And I'm sure people would have approached you, start investing more on module 3 and 4. The first thought that would have come to your mind is, not now, let me just get the ROI from the investment that I've already made. Yes, no? Right? Absolutely not. Now, this is the time when you need to actually work on the depth of your coaching. You need to work harder on yourself. And that is where you're going further deeper in the subject that you're already, for which that makes your heart sing, and you need to be an expert in that. And here also, people are not talking about you. Only you know coaching, and there are a set of 10 or 15 feedback that you've actually accumulated from the first phase of, what's the first phase? Gumnam. So from the streets of Gumnam, you're actually living a life of a Surma. Now, this is where people will start acknowledging you. And I remember there was a time I went to this organization and I said, I'm a coach. And I did this, I'm a coach, I'm a coach, I'm a coach. Nobody heard me. Now here when I said I'm a coach, okay, so wait for some time and then we might give you a chance. And this is where you'll start getting acknowledgement. This is where people will start coming to you. Now this is the second phase, right? The first is Gumnam, the second one is Surma. Now the third one is where things would start falling in place for you. You'll start getting a lot of work. And this phase is what we call as Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman. Right? Why Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman? Because this is the time when you're getting a lot of work and you're not being able to juggle 3 different balls in your hand. Because what's happening is, here you have been doing a lot of pro bono work. This is where you are further adding more depth and more breadth to yourself, and people have started acknowledging, and this is where you'll start getting a lot of business. Now this is the space where you're getting a lot of business and there's a lot of juggling happening and you're not being able to manage. That which work should I say yes to and which work should I say no to? Should I work with this organization, or if I should work with this organization? And that is, you'll realize that there are cracks which are starting to come in your personal and professional life. You're not being able to manage that, right? There's so much of work happening, there's so much of work coming your way, and because you've worked so hard there, which only you are aware of, this is giving you results, and you can't afford to let go, to say no to work. And yet, it has started to show certain cracks in your personal and professional life where you'll not be able to spend time with your family members. You might not be able to spend time on your health. You might not be able to spend on your well-being. You might not be able to spend time on your spirituality as well. Now, this is the time where you need to sustain. Now, while I'm talking about this, there are two basic principles that I will come back to in a while, which I personally say: authenticity, what you really care for, and the relationships. I'll come there as well. Now, once the Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman has been released, just wait for the time when you will release your Bazigar. And once you have released that movie Bazigar once, you don't have to look back. Now here, this is where you start to bring in processes and systems in place. You have to learn to say no to people. You have to say, no, this is not the kind of work that I would like to do. But once you're able to release that movie for yourself, what it means is that people are talking about a new actor in the town. That here is a new actor on the block who's doing some reasonably good work, where people are acknowledging for the good work that you are doing, where people are giving you feedback, where people are coming back to you and say, hey, how would you do that? How might you design a program for the senior leadership team? Now, while these are the 4 phases that I spoke about, where I started from the streets of Gumnam, where nobody knew that I'm a coach, from a space where people started acknowledging my presence in the industry, this would not have been possible without the 2 basic principles that I spoke about. The first principle is, as I mentioned, authenticity. The question is, it's not that how many of you can do coaching. The question is, why are you in the space of coaching? Are you aware of that? When I started my journey on the streets of Gumnam to the movie called Bazigar, my why has also shifted, because at that point in time, it was only the need of survival. I just wanted to earn 5,000 rupees more per day. And from here, it's not that I don't want to earn more money. I would definitely want to earn more money. And by God's grace, I'll not be wrong in saying that today I'll be one of the top 20 guys who actually charge from the nose. And people are willing to pay that as well. What I'm definitely saying is that as much as money is important to me, there's a deeper why that I've been able to find for myself. The question is, do you know your why? Because unless you're aware of your why, you'll not be able to sell your practice. You'll not be able to build your practice. That's principle number 1, right? And all the people who are here, who have known me for the last 10 to 12 years, the very fact that they are here, that's an evidence. That's an acknowledgement that there's some relationship that we really have. Yeah. So there's this gentleman who's Bhaskar Rao. He interviewed me for the first time when I got interviewed at Franklin Covey. The very fact that he is here, so he's one of the witness who has actually witnessed my journey. We have got Lata, who has mentored me for almost like last 10, 12 years. We have got Surbhi and Smarty, who have actually been in my life for last 10 years. Rohit is here, who has seen my journey. Now, if you can forget everything from my conversation, remember one thing. There's nothing like a relationship that can take you places. There's nothing like relationship. And when I'm talking about relationship, what I mean is deliver more value than the other person can expect from you. There are instances, I remember I was doing a program for another friend of mine. He was the L&D head of an organization. And I did this program, and as the luck would have it, you deliver 10 programs, so 1 program would not go as you would expect. Yes, no? Right? And I promised this gentleman, I said, you know what, I'm going to invoice you for the 9 workshops that I've done. I'm not going to invoice you for the 10th one. Why? Because I don't think that I've been able to add value to you. He didn't say anything. Because when somebody's your friend, he might not tell something that you might not like it. But at the same time, who are you being in the conversation that's going to make all the difference? And I remember when there were 14 people who started their coaching journey with me. Right now, there are only 3 practicing coaching out of those 14, and I'm one of them. And by God's grace, I'm working with the 2 others as well. So what I mean is, it's the relationship that's going to make all the difference in you, in your coaching practice, that's going to make all the difference in your life. Coaching is nothing. It's your way of being. Who you are is how you coach. And when I'm talking about building your coaching practice, what I'm saying is building your lifetime friends. Don't run after building your coaching practice. Run after making friends who can be there with you at your funeral. And they are going to tell you, you know what? This person did make a difference. Thank you.